name's Corbin Reed and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be taking you through the last part of my decorating series for the holiday, which is going to be my entryway and my hallway. I'm in a townhome, so I have a lot of like pass-through spaces, and I pass through them a lot to get from one room to the next, and so do guests. So they are spaces that I do not like to ignore during the holiday. The entryway sets the tone for the entire house, so I like to decorate both of those spaces. Everything you see in this video that I can link, I'll leave linked down below in the description box. And without further ado, let's get into it.
So starting off in the hallway, I've got a really nice base here with the paneling, and I am just going to be going in with this Norfolk pine garland in like a 64-inch. I have 3 of them that I am going to be using on these stairs. The stairs die into the walls, so there's not really any point in taking the garland all the way up the stairs. Plus I don't have enough garland for that. So I'm using zip ties to attach it to the stairs and then just sort of fanning the garland out. Now the Norfolk pine garland is notorious for being sparse, so you have to layer it. And I had exactly 1 cedar garland left over, and I'm just using it at the tail of the garland so that there's a really nice lush trail coming down to the floor, and when you're head on looking up the stairs, it just looks nice and full. And then of course I'm adding twinkly lights. Those are battery operated, but if you have an outlet, I think that the ones you can plug in are a lot more powerful and pretty. I'm using this red ribbon also that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just figuring out the length I need and then repeating that 3 times so that the tails are the same length and there's enough ribbon extra for the bow. The whole look of all of my garlands, if you watched my living room decorate with me and my fireplace and built-in decorate with me, is the long tails. So the long, super dramatic tails with this 2-inch thick red velvet ribbon. So I probably got about 4 spools of this ribbon to decorate 3 staircases, a mantle, and my bookshelves. And then also coupled it with some ribbon that I had left over from last year that was also like a burgundy-ish red. But I just love the drama of the tails. And I do that little triangle indent at the bottom so it looks neat and finished. And I just hover them kind of above the ground. I'm also adding this rustic bell to the front of the garland. To attach it, I'm using a thinner ribbon. This one's like 1 inch thick. And it's the same color, also from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just tying it onto the stairs, but also in the center of the bow at the front there. So on the other end of this hallway, I have this espresso sheepskin Ingeborg sofa by Lassen that I got off of Lumens last year on super clearance for like 75% off. I'll link it down below. They still sell it. So I have this vignette on that wall. We do sit there sometimes or fold laundry or put bags there. It's like a landing when you come up the stairs. I'm adding these 24-inch Norfolk pine wreaths that I got from Joann's a couple years ago. Some more red ribbon. They still have the battery-operated twinkly lights on them that I got from IKEA, and a string of bells from Hobby Lobby. And I am just replacing the photo that was there with a wreath, and I did the same thing on the other end of the hall, removed the photo and added the identical wreath to the other end of the hallway. This is my laundry folding area. We put our dry cleaning in that basket. I'm just using this riser from Hearth and Hand a few seasons back, this vintage black clay pot that I got off of Etsy, and some stems that I got from Joann's. They were literally $3 for both of those bunches, and they're very thick, so you only need 2 to make a nice arrangement in a vase. And they have pine cones in them that are real, which tricks your eye into thinking that the greenery is real. And then I just tied a red burgundy bow that I had from last season, so I save all my ribbon because ribbon is reusable, and there's no point in buying more if you have more. And crazily enough, I used all of my ribbon, almost red ribbon that I saved from last year, so I guess I tied more bows this year. And then I just added a burgundy candle and a little single sconce there with a ribbon around it. I did decide to go in and add one more ribbon to the wreath. I thought it was cool to just kind of do an asymmetrical look. Now I'm setting up my cashmere pencil tree in the corner here. These are great. I got mine on super sale like 3 years ago for $30 from Michael's. They're pre-lit trees that plug in, snap together. They stand, I don't know, I want to say like 7 feet tall maybe, which is perfect for 8-foot height ceilings, which is what most people have. And they're nice and slim. So if you're like me and you have a lot of smaller rooms, smaller spaces, these are great to just shove in the corner and get that Christmas cheer. I'm covering up the bottom with this brown linen throw that I don't really use. So I'm using it as a tree skirt. I think it looks really nice with the colors in the rug and the espresso sheepskin love seat. And then I have a mixture of ornaments that I'm going to be using on this tree. I have some from Target. I have some from Amazon that are like velvet flocked, and then the ones from Target were just $5 from the dollar spot that are like candy apple red or matte red and glossy, high gloss. And I'm using pipe cleaners to create like bobble bundles, I guess you could call it. Bubble bundles, that's what I'll call it. They're like clusters. That's probably a better word for it. And I'm just tying them to the tree with the pipe cleaners. The green pipe cleaners disappear into the tree, so you don't really see them, which is great. And the clusters are really nice because it just, you notice the effect of the different textures more, and it just looks more intentional, and your eye just has more to look at when there are different textures sort of clustered together like that, instead of just stringing them all up individually on the tree. Notice that when you go to hotels or, you know, anywhere that there's a display, like at a department store, they use this technique a lot. I've seen a lot of interior designers use this technique, so I figured I'd give it a try, and honestly, I don't think I'm going to go back. It works so well. It's such high impact, and it just, again, looks really intentional. For an added layer, I am just using more of this 2-inch ribbon. This one actually has wire in it, which I kind of liked because it made it easier to manipulate, like how it laid on the tree. I'm just wrapping it on an angle all the way down from top to bottom and nestling it into the branches of the tree. I'll just give you a little bit of a closer look at how I add the clusters to the tree. You really just tie and tuck, like twist and tuck, and then you kind of have to arrange them the way you want them to sit and kind of shove them in. And it's definitely not just like a quick process, but once they're on there, they're on there. And I do recommend using shatterproof ornaments for this, just because the glass ones that I do have are beautiful, but they were a little bit harder to put in the clusters, so they usually went at the bottom and will kind of pull the branch down. So if you just use shatterproof and they're lightweight, they'll sit up a little bit nicer and you won't have to fight them so much. And just for one more added element in the hallway, I'm just putting this stocking on the door where the laundry is, a gingerbread pillow that I got from the Target dollar spot for a few dollars, and this red beaded pillow which I've had for years and pull out every year and put usually somewhere different, but it just adds a nice sparkly touch. And I almost always use red. I know it's very trendy this year, but I've been doing it for a long time. It's my favorite color. For the season, and I just think it's so festive. So that red pillow has come out many a year. And here's a look at the hallway with all the lights off, just so you get an idea of what it's like at night. I do have these things. The battery operated lights are on a timer. They come on basically around like 5 every night and stay on for 6 hours. And the tree I have on a Casa plug-in, so it turns on at the same time and goes off at the same time every day. So moving on to the entryway, I am using this French Confit vintage pot on a stack of books and this group of stems. These are like a pack of 12 from Amazon. I'll leave them linked down below if you're still in the market for greenery. But all of them together work really well with shorter pots like this. They're not very long stems like the Kirkland ones or the floral ones, which I think are 36 inches. These are only like 16 or 18 inches. And then these are just some picks that I picked up from Michael's. It's like a deep red berry. They have like variations in color, but they're all like different shades of red and burgundy and almost like blackish red, which I love because they look more real. So I'm just interspersing those in the branches and just moving things around to blend them in nicely. Then I'm using these twig lights, which are plug-ins. I use these pretty much every year. I also put these on a Casa smart plug so that they can turn on and off at the same time every day, and I don't have to mess with them or change batteries or anything like that. And I just sort of wrap the branches around those twiggy brown branches, and it looks like they're pre-lit branches, which is awesome. I'll leave this link down below as well if you're in the market for something like this for one of your arrangements, but it's a really nice way to make your arrangements look pre-lit. And then for the stairwell in my entryway, it looks very similar to the stairwell in the hallway on the second floor. I'm doing the exact same thing, so I won't bore you with too many of the details. It's just the same formula. Zip tie, start with the Norfolk pine as the base, fluff it out, and then add the cedar garland over the top for texture and volume. And these cedar garlands are either from Hobby Lobby or Temu. We'll leave the Temu link down below just because the Hobby Lobby one is been sold out for months, probably since July, and the Temu one is actually cheaper. It's probably too late to get it now in time for Christmas, but if you are trying to buy these things and slowly and accumulate them, I would suggest buying them and just storing them for next year. There's always a place you can put a garland, whether it's on a stairwell or a kitchen window or in your bedroom above a window, above a mirror. There's just so many uses for them. And when you find a good one for a good price, I just think you should grab them because they sell out so fast when they're the good ones. I added more twinkly lights and more red ribbon and did the exact same thing down here. I'm tying those long tails with the 2-inch red ribbon, and basically the formula is the ribbon goes anywhere that the garland connects. So it connects, like the joining point is at the front of the stairs, and then where the swoop ends and meets the next garland, there's a ribbon there, and the tails go to the floor. So that's sort of my formula, and that is also a really good tip for design is repetition. It helps your house to feel cohesive and thoughtful and well thought out, just like high-end designer. And it's not because you're spending a ton of money, it's just because you are repeating things. And you can do this with anything. You can do this with materiality, you can do this with furniture, lamps, things like this for Christmas. You got ribbons, garland. You know, you want to be using repetition where you can. Then these bells are from a wreath that I had from Hearth and Hand that I pulled off of there. And then this is the door that goes out to my garage. I just attached this wreath that I picked up from Joann's last year and added some bows that are pre-tied from Walmart. And I think they go really, really nicely together. When you walk in the door, you get to see that wreath leading out to the other door, to the garage. And it just makes for a very pretty, cohesive picture and festive picture. Moving on to the last touches that I did in my entryway, I put these 2 iron reindeer, which again I already had from Target years ago, on this little shelf that I made, which is where coats get hung. And then I also added these swag that I already had assembled from last year. You can feel free to go back and watch my entryway decorate with me from last year, from 2023. But I essentially just bent some stems and strung them together with some floral wire, added a bow and some bells, and these just sort of swing over the rod of the sconce. So they're just really easy to place. It's really nothing too complicated. You could also, if you don't have extra stems, you can just cut some swag off of a garland. That's another really good way to make swag. You don't always have to buy it. And then I last minute decided to add, I had some extra Hobby Lobby bells. I bought a bunch of these up early in the season. They're so cheap, $2-3. So I had some extra ones and just put them right in the middle of the wreath. And that is the final look for the entryway.
Thank you so much for watching today. Please be sure to hit that subscribe bell button so you don't miss any of my upcoming uploads. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your favorite part, or if there's anything in this video that I have that you also used in your home, any techniques or tips or tricks. This is a great place to share that stuff in this community. So it also just helps me know and the algorithm know what you guys are enjoying and what I can give you more of, and it helps me to give you more of it for free. Please leave a comment down below and follow me over on Instagram, and I will have a house tour, a Christmas house tour, and then that'll be it for my Christmas content for the season. The next thing you'll probably see is like a trends video, so stay tuned for all of that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.